I'm back from San Francisco. I was there for the AI Engineering World Fair. Didn't get to present live, but I recorded a video about MCPs being boring because I've been playing around with the concept of using just eval as an MCP, and eval is connected to a JavaScript sandbox. I don't know if I was already playing with this on stream before I left for San Francisco. That could very well be. But I've been perfecting it, and I have more ideas to add to it, and we'll be working on that. The thing is that before I started the stream, I have been building so many little things that I kind of want to finish, or at least remember how to continue. So we'll first take a little look at that. The first thing I did, well, I did so many things, right? Like, so much time has passed. I've built so many things. I don't know if I can even say that I built them. One of the most useful things I did was something called the Workspace Manager, which as I'm starting to use Ampcode more and more, and I have like multi-repos, I have like a lot of little mono repos, I need to manage them. And I use work trees now to kind of check out a couple of them, because I do need to reference files left and right. And I'm using mostly Ampcode on the terminal because I had like a weird race condition bug that I don't know if it's fixed or not. And for that, I do need to have like all these files accessible from the root, but I don't want to point Ampcode at my 3 million lines kind of open source multi-repo. So I have this thing called the Workspace Manager, which I built on the plane, or like Ampcode built on the plane. And this allows me to basically, why does this even not work? This is starting great. The Workspace Manager allows me to list the different workspaces that I have checked out right now on different features I've been building. So like today, while waiting for my stuff to deploy, I decided to build a little Kitty control for the Kitty terminal, because I do want to actually build like a multi-Ampcode manager within Kitty, because I don't like, there's Tmux and there's JellowJ and whatever. I use Kitty, and I don't know if it's the best, but maybe I should explore it a little bit more. I've been building a Datadog CLI tool, which is actually going pretty well, but I'm having issues with the searchlog v2 command and scopes. So I'm not fully sure what to do there. And this is something that I was literally working on 3 minutes ago. So I think I should kind of wrap it up so I remember what I was doing. For work, I need to build a Redis rate limiter. So I have like a work thing here going on. Then I'm adding JavaScript to Geppetto, or rather I'm adding Geppetto JavaScript to the JavaScript eval server. So this is the one we're going to continue tonight. And then on the plane, I started building, after I built the Workspace Manager, I started working on a GraphQL MCP. That one, as you can tell, is from June 3rd, is a little bit old. I don't know what to do with that. But the first thing I'm going to do is this Datadog CLI tool is something that I'm going to merge, basically. And so what I can do once I'm in this work tree, right? Like, I have a lot of commands here. What the Workspace Manager does is like, it allows me to discover Git repositories in my working directory. So it allows me to scan those. So those are all like my open source Git repos. I actually don't really know what the tags are about. This is like kind of something Ampcode added. Don't know where it's going to go. It's pretty hot in here, so let me turn on the AC. All right, I'm back. It's getting hot and humid here in New England. It's like the funny season. So I was saying, Ampcode did a bunch of stuff that I haven't even explored, right? And then on the plane, I was building some other thing called a playbook manager to check out parts of my documentation. And I got it. I know that it works, but I haven't been using it because I just can't absorb so many new tools. which is interesting. It means that Ampcode kind of saturates my need for features. And I'm someone who wants a lot of tools and a lot of features, and I kind of saturate my brain with all the stuff I'm able to build now, which is a good sign, right? Like, it means that even if the models get better, I'm kind of saturated. And part of that, I think, is it's in a way it's really scary, because at this point I'm really literally just telling the AI what to do instead of like putting work into it. And we'll get back to that because it's part of my eval concept. But it also means that like I'm really trying to figure out what my job as a programmer is at this point. Sure, it's like having ideas with these little tools, and these are still very technical. And but I've been like generating entire iPhone apps now, and yeah, I don't know. It's a really weird time, and this like eval MCP that we're going to look into kind of shows how deep this thing goes. Of just like, instead of engineering stuff around the AI, playing into its strength and playing into its like sparkle is what I call it, because we are with MCP in particular, or tool calling in general, right? Like if we put MCP as just like a way, as an alias for tool calling, we're really restricting what models can do. It's pretty wild. So we'll get back to that. I was saying this Datadog CLI tool that I want to merge, I can use the workspace manager, and I can just do workspace manager status, and it will check the Git branches. You'll see this tool is like not super pretty. Part of it is super pretty. But for example, here we can see that, oh, Google Labs has been modified and hasn't been merged back, right? And it says like, oh, those are the modified files. Pretty cool. I just asked it to add a status verb. And so what I can do, I don't think I've ever tried out the VSM commit actually, because I do kind of want to have a terminal UI around it. And I asked it to generate a terminal UI, but it's like not really good, to be honest. So if I can manage the workspaces, yeah, and it's not fully working. So that one I kind of abandoned because I didn't have a design either for it. But if I go in here, I can see that the test command has been changed. So I'm just going to commit that and say added test 3 list verbs in auth test. And if I do VSM status again, it will show me that there's stuff that, right, like it's been synced, but it hasn't been merged. And I could do, at this point, I could just do a pull request. So I think I added the pull request. Yeah, I did add this. So this is pretty wild too. I think it'll open a pull request for me. I just said like add a pull request verb. So I actually don't know what this does. No branches found that need pull requests. I know I used it like last time, but what's the other thing? I guess I'm just going to do a create pull request. And this is kind of the thing that I meant, is like, I'm pretty sure the pull request works, or at least does something, and I just haven't had time to learn the software that I created, right? Create pull request using GHPR create for branches in the workspace that need PRs. I don't know what need PRs mean. I need a PR if it's not merged in the main master. It has commits ahead of the remote tracking branch. It exists on the remote. Oh, so I do need to push it first, right? So I'm going to push it. And if this was me programming right now, I would just like, add like a push verb. But I'm not going to check that out and doing all of that today because that's not what we're here for. So let me push this. Let me see. It'll probably like fail its... oh, I do need to add left hook once I check things out. So that's something I'm going to write on my little feature card. I've got my little feature card that I've shown you quite a few times. I keep like little checklists. And this is actually all for the workspace manager, right? Because I use it all the time. And then, I think I should be on Twitch as well, Flo. I think that would be weird if I wasn't, because I think I turned on streaming to Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, this should be live. It's just like a weird word name. because it's still my music moniker, like not even my music moniker. So let me just format this source code, because that's usually the stuff that it misses. Holy shit. Git add commands datadog CLI white space. Let me push this. Datadog CLI tool. All right, I guess I should run a format next time. So if I now do vsmpr, I think it will create a pull request, right? No branches found that need pull requests. All right, well, for another time. I'm just going to create the pull request here and then add first sketch of Datadog CLI tool, and that's something I'll continue tomorrow. So I'll actually leave the workspace as it is. And then we'll move on to the JavaScript stuff. I think. Is there something else that I wanted to merge? Oh, the kitty control. I'm tempted to work on the kitty control, but I shouldn't get distracted. It's more interesting to my ADHD brain today than the other stuff. Is this Sonnet having trouble? Sonnet had issues with Anthropic had API issues today, right? Are they still not back? Status anthropic.com. Oh yeah, look at that. API, better features, API down, major outage. All right, well that's promising. So let me see, Pinocchio profile 4.0. Will this give us a good pull request? Is my internet broken? What's going on? All right, there we go. Why is 4.0 so slow? I think that's what happens when you're streaming, right? Yeah, GCP and Anthropic today. I mean, I'm glad that Ampcode seems to work. I thought they were all like Sonnet dependent, but maybe they hosted on Bedrock or something. All right, add initial version of Datadog CLI tool, core commands, query built-in documentation profiles, simplifies the workspace. Oh, that's because the diff is like not relevant. All right, so this gives us a pull request, and I'll just merge it because whatever. Actually, maybe I should just give it a look, but I think this is all fine. All right, cool. Where were we? JavaScript, Claude. Oh, well, Claude is broken. Claude AI is broken too. That's going to be bad if that's the case, because that's what I was using to experiment with my JavaScript server. All right, so it's still working. So to give you an overview of what I'm going to talk about is, let me open a browser. So I recorded this talk called actually I do have it in Obsidian, don't I? Called MCPs are boring, right? Which goes into the details of why I think MCPs are kind of really a net negative, or like function calling in general is kind of really really a net negative in the sense that it's based on a model of what LLMs are, which I think is missing why they're so cool. It kind of is assuming that, oh, like agents, they're like little robots walking around and their brain is an LLM. Which of course LLMs can be, because they're whatever you tell an LLM to be. And then we're like, oh, well, if they're little robots running around, then we can give them tools. And then because of the training corpus, they know how to use these tools. So if we give it like a Google search tool and we give it, like a query database tool, and then they're able to look up company data in the database and then do a web search, and then they'll compile this web search to give you the information you need, which is true, right? And which is why all of this is pretty cool, is that, yeah, indeed, you give it like a web search tool and you give it a database tool and it's able to do all of this information. The problem is we're calling these tools with data generated by the LLM, which is expensive. And then the result of this database, the result of this tool, we're dumping it all back into the context window and then hoping that it contains the information that the LLM is looking for. And then the LLM non-deterministically is going to do something with this information, right? So it's using this tool. It's a pretty expensive tool to use, especially if you have things like get company info, right? If you have get company info as a tool, then the company info could be like 5,000 tokens because it contains like the address and the name and the contact people and like whatever their revenue is and like all kinds of information that could be relevant if the robot decides to use the company info. But that means that if I ask the model, like, you know, give me the contact email for OpenAI, it's going to compute all these 5,000 tokens, ingest them, and then maybe like 6 of these tokens are the email address and pull them out. But if you, and one of the other problems is if you give an LLM like 200 tools, and some of them have pretty bad prompt engineering, so they overlap, and then it suddenly starts to not understand if like it should use the search email tool or if it should use the get company info tool, if it should like search on the internet, because there's like 15 tools available. And it's like, I'm a robot, I don't know what to do. However, what LLMs are really, really good at is writing code, because they've been trained on so much code, they've seen so much code. Usually code is pretty close to natural language anyway, right? Like if I do, oh, please give me the email of a company and here's a database, then select email from companies is not that far away from the request itself, right? And they've been trained. They just know how to create a database to get an email out once you give them the schema. But they're also good at discovering the schema. And they're also good at like counting emails if you suddenly ask them to count emails. So they have all this flexibility that is fully expressible when we use them to write code. And we can see that in the vibe code explosion, right? Like you can create the most amazing stuff using 15 frameworks and 35 programming languages. However, I'm not able to get the model to use 100 tools. Like what is that? I can give the LLM like a get issues, get pull requests, get whatever tools to do some GitHub stuff, and it will get confused once I add like 15 of them. However, if I give it like the GitHub API or a GitHub library and a Jira library and a linear library, it's actually able to write a program that does all 3 of them and doesn't get confused, right? So we're losing so much both in like speed and in cost and in flexibility by just restraining LLMs to basically be function calling executors with a really shitty cost for that. It's like, oh, you're querying a database that's going to be 30 cents. Like who's going to do that in even like 20 years ago? So anyway, this is kind of like the spiel. And this is, I'll go through the slides like fairly quickly. So yeah, LLM tools are great. This is just like a recap of what an LLM tool call looks like. Sadly, the slides are a little bit small and I don't know how to make this bigger. But if you call a tool, right, like a tool call is also just tokens emitted, tokens coming back. So if you ask the model, oh, I need the weather in San Francisco, then maybe there's some chain of thought going in there. Then it's going to emit the tokens. I need to use a tool and then the name of the tool, which is literally a function call and uses JSON schema for defining itself. And then once it emitted these tokens, there's a deterministic part around the LLM, right? Like the LLM client that's going to say, oh, look at that, a tool call. And then it's going to actually call the right weather API. And it's going to get all this tool result here, all these like little tokens and send them back to the LLM, right? And so even though I was maybe just asking for the temperature, I still get like all kinds of data. So that's great. That's all cool. It allows you to do many, many, many amazing things, as I'm sure you all know. But once you give them 100,000 tools, then suddenly they don't do so well. In fact, the moment you put a tool into the context window, right? Like the moment you put a tool definition into your API call, the quality of the LLM actually significantly degrades in terms of like creativity and tone and all kinds of things. So that maybe it's not true with the newest models, but that was definitely the case with 4.0 and Sonnet 3.5. And I think part of the reason for that is that tool calling is mostly having been trained on synthetic data. And synthetic data is kind of boring. So yeah, the Gophers. I love the Gophers too. I love these slides. I love making slides with 4.0. They're still like sloppy, but they're sloppy in like a way less annoying way than they used to be. And I did this on the quick, so it like looks like garbage, but the background stuff I really like as well. Then, as I said, they're pretty expensive. What comes back is even more expensive, right? And this is the example I gave is like if you ask a CRM tool suite as MCP what the contact information for OpenAI is, it's going to be like, oh, I have a tool called like get companies, and then it's going to scroll through like 38 companies, all with like info, and then at the end it's going to be like, oh yeah, here's OpenAI. And I'm making an example up, but you right, like often the GitHub MCP tools, they literally have a tool called like get latest issues, which like, all right, sure, like every time I ask for issues, I'm going to get like 20 back, and then maybe the one I'm looking for is not even in there. But then the more you add parameters to your tool calls, the more confused the LLM gets, and it's like it gets really quickly confused compared to like code writing, which is funny. So even without like harping on MCP tools themselves, there's like just the protocol itself, even if it was fast and cheap and all of that, I think we're missing so many things, right? Like the only thing that we can currently forward to MCPs, and there might be a proposal around it. I'm not following this too closely. Like I would love to have the chat history context. Like it's free. Just give me all the stuff that happened in the past, because I might want to use it. Like maybe there's previous calls in there. Maybe there's like files that have been attached. Like I don't want you to call me with a file, having to copy paste that file into your own context, even though it's already in there. And you could add so much more. And in a way, it shows that MCP in its generality, what it actually tries to be is a plugin for an MCP, for an LLM client. And these clients have different UIs, have different affordances and all kinds of things. But because MCP tries to be something that covers everything, it like suddenly cannot do anything really well. It just allows you to show some JSON that's going to be returned with JSON, kind of. And that's how most tools actually show it. Like even Claude AI, the only thing you get out of an MCP in terms of UI, despite Claude being so rich, is a tiny JSON window for the call and then a tiny JSON window for the results. Okay, that's kind of limiting. You could add memories, right? Like you could add all kinds of attached files or the images that were pasted in there before. And other things you could do is like, well, why don't you, like the only thing most MCP clients give you is the opportunity to say like yes or no. And why not give me the option to edit the parameters before I send them off to my tool, right? Like maybe you got it like 90% right. And then the only thing I can say is like, no, then I have to stop the LLM. And I say like, no, please call this again, but use this parameter, triggering a whole full inference with my whole context window, and then hoping that it gets the parameter right. Similarly, why not ask me to edit the tool result, right? Like maybe I could say get companies, and then maybe you can give me the option to just like filter them further. So an example here is like, if I do a query with the CRM, like maybe I can have a little, damn, this is small. I can have like a little window here. It says like approve, reject, which we know, and then a little button that's called edit, and then at least let me edit like the JSON, the parameters in there. And then after I call it to say like, well, why don't you let you edit the response and maybe remove, 13,000 lines of nonsense. As I was saying, LLMs can do so much more than just pretending to be a little tool robot. So yeah, they've been writing a lot of code, code that calls code is really cool because you can write code that calls code, that writes code, all of these things. And basically what this allows you to do is to not only have the LLM write code to do the query that you want it to, but it can actually, by virtue of defining functions, by virtue of storing like SQLite views, all of these things, it allows you to create new tools as you need them. And in a way, you can already fake this a lot, saying cursor, by writing little shell scripts or little command line tools for the task that you want to do, have it run these. And I think newer models are actually trained to do that, right? They'll be like, I don't think this API really works. Let me write like a little tool that tests this API until I understand it, and then I'll delete it. So I see Ampcode doing that all the time, which is pretty cool. So why not have MCPs just be like, oh, execute code, and then you can import the GitHub library, maybe you can import the XYZ library, maybe you can import XYZ Y, I don't know. And then the only prompt engineering code that you kind of need is like, oh, write the code to do X. And that's actually true. And this like putting write the code to do something in front is like a technique that I keep telling people for the last 2 years. It's like, oh, if the LLM doesn't know how to do things, just like ask it to write the code to do that thing. Because that's usually much more easily retrieved from the training corpus, right? Like adding two numbers, for example, which early LLMs used to really suck at. If you say like add 25 plus 33, and they try like, match, oh, 20. However, asking it to write the code to add 25 plus 33 is literally writing 25 plus 33. So much easier, right? And that's actually true for a lot of things. Like often it's like the example with the database I gave before. If you want to retrieve the email of the companies in the database, then you usually write like select email from companies. And that's because we're building programming language to actually be close to how we express things. So that's why they're so easy to retrieve. And that's why coding works so well, is we've worked really hard on making coding retrievable and pattern matchable, and like remove a lot of the cognitive effort of assembling things by using language to do so. So anyway, I'm rambling a bit, but the only MCP you need is eval, was kind of my concept. And then I think I'm going to show that. And I think after that, then I have like a little bit about UIs that you can do. But what I'm going to show you is like I have a JavaScript sandbox with SQLite and REST. And then I went to a hackathon with Yikes in San Francisco. It was pretty cool. Reminded me of my youth. And I rebuilt this because I had a crappy version for the presentation. So this is the crappy version from before. It was called Execute.js. Now I have like a slightly better version. And I hope it works. So we're going to see that. I also vibed a really useful tool, which is called LSOS Who, which is who is using this port. And we can see that this port is actually being used by my MCP.js server running through Cloud, so I don't need to kill it, right? Like it gives me the option to kill things here. We don't need to, it's good. We can see there's a single MCP tool loaded, which is the MCP.js, and it has an Execute.js tool. I'm actually going to quit this. I'm just going to purge its databases because it has two databases, one where it stores its data and one where it stores its source code. And we're going to remove those. We're going to start Cloud again to start from scratch. It's going to load, and I'll show you. I also vibed, and this you're going to see it. I did all of this in 2 hours. I have like a whole JavaScript playground. So this is actually connecting to the MCP as well on a different port, and it gives me like all these. It gives me like a JavaScript. This is the same sandbox that is reachable from the Cloud thing, right? And it has like example of all the things I can do. I can say query the database, for example, which doesn't work. I can generate a random number. Like all of these things work. It has like a full. This is where you see the beauty of vibe coding. It has like all the docs. You want like a full tutorial? Like here you go. Sure, pretty good. And there's many of those. Then there's like full code examples. So the loading of code examples, I remember, didn't work, but you can load them from here. So yeah, if you want examples, Here you go. And then it has an admin thing, which is kind of a little bit ugly. And it has better styling now, but after a while of vibing, these things start to get a little bit inconsistent in their style. But you can see the different executions I did here, right? Like this was my previous execution when I run this from the REPL, and it has an endpoint. It has a whole REST API to send JavaScript here as well, which is, I don't know, all of this is pretty wild. So what this, you can see the executions here, right? Like the math random, and then the select here, and then the success here. All of these things are like live refreshing as well. I think I have a global state inspector. Yeah, this one I didn't even look at. I think I had it fix it, and then I left. What the fuck is all of that, man? Like, so this is a duplicate page, which happens pretty often once you start vibing over multiple sessions. It's just like, it will just like recreate things, right? So this is admin logs, but then there's admin scripts, and there's the playground, the REPL, the history. The history is kind of like the logs as well. So at some point I will do a cleanup. Here I just like piled stuff on, and it's kind of a part of vibe coding. I think it's like you pile stuff, and then you have like 3 different versions of something, and then you have to basically tell the model, look, like I'm going to delete these 3 versions, but before I do, please write a new spec. You delete all 3, and then you recreate it, because at this point it's easier than like modifying 3 things that overlap and are confusing. So you basically do greenfield like a lot of the time, but you are able to put this into specs. So anyway, maybe we'll do some of that today. Maybe not. Anyway, I'm going to show you this this execute JS that I have here, and this JavaScript sandbox, which is in a Go, which I'll show you later on, has basically 2 actual functionalities. It can store and read stuff from a SQLite database. So that's number 1. It has storage. And the second one that it can do is register HTTP handlers. So it provides like a mocked, like not a mock version, but like a fake version of the Express.js API, because I'm leveraging the fact that the training corpus knows Express.js pretty well. Before I had like a different HTTP kind of API, and that was confusing it. It would like try to write Express.js very often. I did literally 0 prompt engineering all of this. I think the tool description for MCP.js server is literally execute JavaScript, and then I just pasted the API handbook that it generated. But things I can do is like create a CRM database and populate it with fake company info. Hopefully Sonnet is not going to do too much. So a lot of the prompt engineering I'm going to be doing here is fighting against Sonnets or like Claude AI's Claude Desktop System Prompt. So you'll see that. I'll have to constantly tell it to not do too much, to not do X, to not do this. And I've been working on a little like actually, where was that? So this thing here, I've been like playing around with the idea of building little chat applications. The problem is I don't remember which directory we're in. So which directory are we in? So this is Ampcode. I just forgot where I started it. And I don't necessarily want to leave the session just yet. I think I can resume it. So I'm in home downloads optimized chat package. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, just to show you what I have in mind, I think it's go run chat. Yeah, it's like making a little chat UI for, what was I doing here? Why does this break? Doing like a little chat UI with potentially just like my own app. Also, yeah, I have like a little slash command thing. So I kind of got distracted and started doing this little slash command thing, which is really fun. This was like a 5-minute session basically. All right, anyway, let's not get too distracted. So I told it to execute, to create a CRM database, right? what it did was run execute.js, and I can't even look at the tool call now. Like I can't see the code that it wrote. What is that? What the fuck? Well, thank God we have our tooling, right? So if I look at the execution, script execution, it's like, okay, first let's inspect the database structure. It sees that there's nothing in here. Then it creates like companies and contacts and deals. It basically writes the code to create a whole database in like one go. It's not even that many tokens, right? If I had a tool that was like called create table or whatever, this would have actually, I think, already used many more tokens, because you have to remember that each back and forth of these tool calls, at least, well, the older models, and O3, I think, allows you to stream tools, and I think Sonnet 4 also allows you to do this without paying too many tokens. But you would actually resend the entire context on each tool call. Here, it just writes everything in one go and then executes it. And then it's like, cool, I've got now like all of this data. So what this allows me to do, because this is what I wanted to show you, is if I quit Claude, right? This is not running anymore. If I restart it, it has all this data in it. So now it's back, right? These are also persisted to the database, so I can see them again. Now I can do, make a minimal company dashboard, and the only prompt thing I need to do is just like say execute.js. It's literally all the thing I need to put in. I have 0 MCPs. It has 0 knowledge of the database. It has like no idea who it is, what it's doing. It's just going to write some JavaScript. And did they change the UI for this? Like I used to be able to see the JavaScript as it writes it. Anyway, we'll see it happen here. So it's going to write the code to like explore the database. So actually, this is where I need to fight against Sonnet. I need to tell it to inspect database first. This is something I should put into the system prompt, because often it will just like override it and will not try to see if existing data is in the database. It'll just like create new tables. That's not what I want. I don't think it executed anything here. Oh, see, it tried to look at these tables, and then it says like, well, I'm sure there's dashboard metrics. And then I stopped it and actually tried to call the tool. So, and then the other thing that I did, holy shit, I forgot about this again. So my prompt engineering is not that great. Make a minimal markdown company dashboard. I don't want it to create a web page. It's very, very primed at creating web pages. So hopefully this didn't create too much. It started creating the... Yeah, I think it like actually created new tables for all of this, but we'll see. This is like a little bit messy, and this is actually what I want to work on today, is being able to persist some of the things it has done in the past, right? So if it has created tables, it would be good that the next time I reload this MCP with this database, it actually just like puts at least the name of the tables that it has into the system prompt. Similarly, it should be able to reload all of the functions that were defined and all of the REST endpoints that were defined, and put some info about them into the system prompt as well, so that the next time I reload this MCP with this database, I will get everything back. So yeah, it's still creating like a freaking web page. So despite me telling Markdown, so now I said it can register HTTP endpoints, right? So if I go to this, now I have a dashboard. And this is actually a real application with real data, right? Like if I say insert a new company into the DB, insert a few new companies into the DB, I will see this dashboard update. So yeah, this is basically what you can do with eval. But the crazy thing now is, right, like if this doesn't match what I want, I can still chat with the model. The thing is that now it will only modify code, and the things that I will ask it to modify in the code are usually pretty small, versus if I were to ask it like follow-up questions about the companies, each time it would get like all this like massive amount of data about the companies in there, while actually writing the code is probably going to be less tokens than all of that's displayed here, right? Like this is more tokens than the code that it did to do the execute.js here. And inserting the new companies, as you can see, is just this. So it would be nice to have syntax highlighting. Also, the previous thing I wanted to do was the workspace manager PR should do a push plus how does it work. And here for the JS server, I'm going to have consolidate the three script history pages. Script history pages. Add syntax highlighting to JS history. All right. So now if I refresh the dashboard, right, like I'll have the new company. This is actually a real application and it doesn't hit the LLM. At this point, it's way faster than an LLM, right? And it's reliable. It's going to be the same every time. And I don't need to pay for anything, right? Yet I still have the flexibility here to say like, well, add a search bar. So if I don't like how this looks, I'm basically vibe coding a search bar in there, except now with the newer models, it like not only will it work pretty reliably, but it allows me to actually get my work done instead of being in coding mode. Like in my brain here, I'm more about like, oh yeah, I want a company dashboard and I want to work with company data, versus I want to write a company dashboard application. So I don't know if that makes sense in terms of what a shift that is in terms of thinking. But to me, it is pretty significant. And so one of the ideas that I want to think about is, since this is building apps, basically on demand, I want to persist it, right? Like the next time I want to look up a company, I want to have the same company dashboard. So that's the first thing, is like persisting those. They're persistent in the database, but they're currently not reloaded when I reload the JS. I'm not fully sure how to do this, right? Because they're built step by step. So does that mean I have to re-execute all the scripts that I was doing? But some of these scripts insert stuff into the database. So maybe I should only store, the handlers, but then does that mean that I need to maybe have some initialization code? Like I'm not really sure how to do all of that. So we'll see. But now I have a search bar, right? And potentially, so the search bar works. I don't know if it does actually HTTP REST calls, or if it's like client side. So that might be something that's interesting just in this case, right? So it doesn't have, it does this like client side. But what we can do to show you that this is a real HTTP application is I don't know, we could have add a company details page that fetches and displays data for a single company. And so in a way, I'm still in the same mode than I would use an LLM when I just want to do some research and I want to chat with something. But at the same time, not only am I eating less tokens, right? Like this seems like it's like more effort than just giving it the tool call and having it do that. That is not really the case. Usually this is like way less code at some point. But also like I get this thing that I can use that's fast, right? Like if I what about EchoSmart? Then this is instant versus asking the LLM about it. So I don't know, because this is not persistent. I haven't really used it, over this like longer term of things. But I was thinking that you could have like a lock unlock mode, right? Where like you can unlock modifying the application, and then you lock it most of the time, and you can only use eval to do things that are not destructive. And you can then, because everything's stored in SQLite, this is writing like, I don't know, this is writing way too much. I don't know what it's doing. What did it create? Oh, why does it do that? So yeah, it created CSS. CSS is just like so fucking verbose, and it like created all the HTML. So I guess it created like a second web page. It did like company 1, company 5. So I should have told it to use Bootstrap CSS because otherwise it just like ends up writing an insane amount of CSS, which is really not that useful instead of using something pre-prepared. So I do now have, I can click on these and I have all these details, right? Which is crazy. Like, this is nice. Like, I want to keep this. Next time, just give me that. I don't need an LLM for most of that, right? However, it can add things like, oh, we did 3 new deals with Cloud Sync because I don't have the web UI to do that, or Cloud Bridge, insert data. I can still leverage the JavaScript part of it to do this like kind of on-demand tool calling as current MCPs allow you to do, except if the tool that I want to use doesn't exist, it will just create it. Right? Like if the MCP provider didn't have like a create deal tool, which is often the case for like GitHub MCPs or stuff like that, they won't have like create issue. They will just have list issues. That's really annoying because you're like, man, this is like 2 functions away. It's really annoying that the MCP provider doesn't have that, and then you need to clone the MCP and blah, blah, blah. It's like just a pain. Here I can just add it as an endpoint or on demand, or I can create a JavaScript function that I can reuse, right? Like I can define JavaScript functions, and you can see if it has like issues like here, this is going to be the interesting thing to figure out is how well is it able to handle these things here, and also how well are we dealing with these like top level, say, constants, and how well does the LLM understand the environment it's in, and like what kind of prompt engineering do I need to do around that. So I think I'm going to give it either a couple of different tools that are all different versions of eval, which is like define REST endpoint, query database, define initialization code, or find some prompt engineering that it like uses functions to do it. I'm not really sure what the best prompt engineering around it is going to be, but that's like the thing that's going to be really interesting. And I wonder if the CloudBridge details, like, did it actually add stuff here? It added a new company called CloudBridge Technologies, and the other one was Cloud Sync Technologies. And then there's CloudBridge Systems. Jesus Christ. So it did CloudBridge Technologies is the newest that it added, and it has like no contract. So that's interesting. I'm just going to say like make a deals page. Use Bootstrap CSS. So yeah, I mean, I built this in two hours, so I think it's pretty good for 2 hours, but it's definitely nowhere near really usable. It's close. Then other things I want to do is like import export, right? So that I can export this as a proper project to just like polish it up in say Ampcode or whatever. Why is my screen so yellow? I guess because it's late. It's not on my laptop screen. It's just on the VGA screen. That's funny. I think I have like something called Red Planet or something like that. Is that? I don't even remember how this works. Is there a Flux equivalent on Linux? Redshift. All right. Redshift GTK, Redshift gel. So what does Redshift, how does it work? I need to add tool calls to my disk. So this is why I did the slash command thing, is in preparation for adding slash commands. Does this do anything? The GTK version? Failed to run Redshift. Could not collect to Wayland display. Okay, cool. Redshift. And reset mode. Ah, there we go. And it's back. How does this work? Whatever, you'll have to live with a yellow screen. All right, I have a new deals page. Where is the deals page? Deals. So now I should see my CloudBridge things. CloudBridge systems. I don't know where these deals are. Where are these going? Sarah Chen. New deals created. Not sure what happened with those. Anyway, it's already 9. I'm not sure if I actually want to code tonight because I've been coding all day. Maybe just showing you where I'm at is enough for a stream to just get back into it. And oh, look at no. This is funny. I really wish I could see more easily what it added in there. I also have like a ton of ideas. Oh, look at that. This actually has syntax highlighting, but I can't easily see the whole code in here. So it created CloudBridge company ID undefined, and then it probably used undefined to insert the deals, and then that didn't work. So yeah, there's it's going to be interesting to see. Do you have to be an engineer to prompt this correctly and give it like, you know, a set of functions instead of MCP tools, but just like functions that allow users to do things, right? Like if I have like a create new deal function, there's a pretty good chance that it will actually be able to use it correctly, more reliably than an MCP. And it gives users the option to still do like deals in a loop, do that kind of stuff without having the opportunity to define new functions. So I'm not sure exactly how to do this lockdown stuff, right? Where like defining a new function is not allowed. Is that maybe because I'll wrap the function definitions in another function, right? So that they're only local. Will I use like an AST parser to recognize that kind of stuff? Will I just like restart the JavaScript sandbox on every call, which is also, you know, an option? I'm not really sure. We'll see what all these options are. And maybe that's something I'll actually keep for Saturday when my brain's going to be fresher than after a full day of AMP coding. Let me see if there's some low-hanging fruits that we could tackle that are not all that hard, that could be a little bit of vibe coding. Maybe it's actually doing this kitty control stuff that I wanted to do, which I actually haven't even tried out. So using, you know, just to give, I said we'd do some Ampcode. So let's do some Ampcode. I'm going to go into kitty control, which I haven't even looked at how it runs. And I do everything in Google Labs. So I don't think this actually has even something that I added. So I'm going to add the command apps kitty control and just commit it. I'm going to add the spec that I created in there. Actually, it's just the kitty documentation. And then I'm just going to run it, see like, does it at least compile? So it does at least compile. Where's my AMP code for it? My AMP code for it. So this is the AMP code for the JS web server that I've kept open since I was in San Francisco. And then this is the kitty control thing. All right, cool. So where was my kitty page? It's on 5. All right. So we have kitty control, and then what can we do? We can get the text from kitty windows. We can list the windows. So let's do list. Kitty listen on environment variable not set. Okay, so that's a good start. Let's start kitty somewhere with a listen on part. So let me do that. So kitty, how'd you start that with a kitty socket? All right. So we're starting a new kitty, which we're going to move to 5 as well. And then we're going to export kitty listen on is, what did we use? Unix temp test. Do we need the Unix even? I'll see. So create client from environment. We're going to go back into GoGo Labs. Unexpected end of JSON input. So I wonder if it's kitty listen on temp test. Only Unix sockets are currently supported. And then this didn't work. And here we can set the log level to debug. Does it support that? No, it doesn't support the flag log level. So that's a good moment to start. I'm using all my frameworks to do that stuff. So I'm going to say add debug logging support using init logging from Viper. This is like actually already like a precise thing. In a sub agent, add debug logging, look at glaze main.go. I'm just going to say like, copy this from another file and then Ampcode as sub agents. That way it will do this work in a sub agent. I don't really need to have it in my main context. It will fork off. I won't like pollute my main context all too much. And then I'll come back and say like, yeah, I added it. So I'm experimenting a little bit with that. I don't fully know how they do the window context management in the sense that I do want to get some information back from the side agents, right? But like, I don't know how much of that is going to go into the main context window. And in a way, this shows that like sub agents really are a context window management thing, design pattern, more so than like a real, like there's no reason to fork off another process to do that. It's just like, oh, we have like, now we have 2 different branches of our context window or maybe 3 or 4, but it doesn't mean that there's like a little robot with tools running around doing something different. It's just there's like 2 different sets of state or context window state, and there's no reason why they need to be separate, right? Like you can exchange information across agents if you so design your system, if you across sub agents, if you think that sub agents is like your design pattern. So we'll see why the path doesn't work, because it should actually work, and I'm not sure what it means to have the other stuff. So it's adding debug info, which why not? It's pretty slow today. So maybe while this runs, I'm going to go make some tea, because that's what you do these days when you code, right? You just go drink coffee or tea. All right, so while the tea's brewing, this is still going on. This is where it starts to get interesting with the agentic coding. Is like I can kind of take 2, 3 going in parallel when I'm by myself. I started opening a fourth with like, I have this like insane list of projects I want to build, and I can't take 4 things. Like even if they just work, right? Like even if everything's successful and I don't need to really interact with it, it's just too much for me. So 3 in parallel was like barely tenable on the plane. And then as you've seen, the playbook manager that I was showing at the beginning, actually I didn't show it, but the playbook manager, is it even here? I think I called it PB. The playbook manager, it is really fully featured. I don't even remember how it works. Like I don't know what a collection is anymore. I don't like I just don't know, man. If I do PB show test shell command, like I think it runs like a shell command in the background and shows me some info. Like there's just like all this stuff that I thought was really cool when I prompted it, and now now I don't remember. I know that there's a lot of documentation about it, but also I just don't have time and energy right now to look at this thing that I wanted to have. It's a really weird thing because, like, for example, this kitty control, I think I will use very often, but it's about how much can I put into my workflow. Like, for example, something as simple as LSOF who is something I use all the time, because all the time before I was like being like, oh, LSOF grep, whatever. So now I'm like making my little things. But for example, the slash commands thing, right? Like I know I want to use it. I know I want to add it to Pinocchio, but I need to think about what that even means. Do you know what I mean? Or I could just ask the AI to do it. So maybe, maybe this is something we could do. I don't think I've even like merged this back into some more somewhere where I can actually use it. It's really weird, and I need to not forget that because I think it's in downloads, because I probably started it off with Manus or something. So it's a really confusing kind of way of working these days, where I'm like, yeah, I kind of know what I want, and also I can't just tell the AI what I want because it's too much for me, even though I can't just tell the AI to build it, right? Like to show that case in point, and maybe it won't work, but if I wanted to say add slash commands to Pinocchio, I'm going to source the agent from, so this I need to make a little bit nicer to use. I'm going to source it from GoGo MCP, and then I'm going to add the repos Geppetto, Pinocchio, Boba Tea, GoGo Labs. So I'm going to create this. I'm going to go into add slash commands to Pinocchio. I need to have like tab complete on that, but whatever. Now I have all of these checked out. I don't know where Boba Tea is at. I think Boba Tea is where I'm going to add this this chat palette thing, which is in downloads, right? Optimize chat package, and then go chat app. So all of this thing here, it's a Git repo. What am I going to do with it? I think I'm just going to literally move this. I am going to copy this, go chat app into this directory. So now it's in here. Then I'm going to start my amp, and I'm going to say move the command palette widget and test code to in go chat app simple chat main pkg command palette, yeah, there, into the Boba Tea package so I can reuse it. I don't want to add already the mention to Pinocchio where I want to use it. I just want to do that. And then I'll type that. And while it's going, I'm actually going to look at the kitty control. And I don't know why it gets stuck today quite a bit. I think that's probably the Anthropic API being a little bit jank. And here I killed the sub agent, so I'm not sure what all happened here. So I think this is still a little bit tricky with their sub agents and like how to control them, because I do want to interact with this one sub agent, but here it like created a new one, even though the other sub agent has already done a lot of stuff. And so I lost this context and now I'm just like paying for it again. But in the meantime, this thing is like doing the other work, right? And I could start a third one here where it'd be like, oh, build me the GitHub GraphQL CLI and have it done too. And then you just go crazy. Right? Like, I mean, then you just literally go crazy. If I show you, because it keeps the directories in here, and then depth too. Now, how does this work? Yes, specified after, but global options are not positional. Okay. Oh man, find directories 2 levels deep. I need to add like an exec flag to this, which is also something that I could add, you know. Look at that. And a lot of those I already deleted in there, and a lot of that is in parallel to the stuff I was doing. And also I was at a conference, so it's not like I was you know, having much time coding. But this was during the conference, I think. Was this the hackathon day? No, this was the hackathon day. Oh, I built like a whole mobile app that day. I totally forgot about it. So anyway, this is like a weird new world for sure. Why is it adding even more logging? I don't know where this is going to take us. Like this whole like sub agent getting stuck and then not being able to resume them is like a very interesting problem, I think, to solve. As you can see here, it's like starting to build all of this. It has like moved it over. So I wonder if it's like, what is it doing? Okay, successfully moved the command palette, blah, blah, is now self-contained and with all types. Make a little test application in a oh my God, make a little test application in a sub agent and use charm bracelet VHS to create demo tapes and render them to GIF as well to show off the functionality. This is building. Is it going to get stuck again? Are we going to have to intervene? So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this like running tool. It seems to me that it often gets stuck here. So, oh, I think I know. This is because it's building everything in the repo. While it should only run the other thing. So if I do go run this here, log level debug. Okay, so this is where it starts to get interesting here. Log level trace. Response content. Okay. So now we can kind of tell it like, you know, use to figure out why things don't work in a sub agent. And before we do that, we're just going to commit. So git committing with Ampcode is way more important than with Cursor because the rewind and all of that doesn't really fully work. Why is it still built in here? It's weird because I tell it in the agent MD to use go run, but it kind of ignores it all the time. Yeah. So art add, no, a speaker. add logging. And while we're doing this, this is creating like a main tool, right? Like this was the thing where I said with the three, if I'm by myself, I'll be able to deal with three because I'll have like the brain space to actually have something going here. Also the display space. Right now, I think this is kind of enough in terms of how much I can deal with things. I really wish I had this GitHub GraphQL CLI tool. But also if I start adding it, then not only will I distract myself because I need to build the data log CLI tool first, or like figure out some of the things here. And I'm actually not sure. The Datadog CLI tool is actually interesting because I think I won't be exposing my credentials. So let me see if I can maybe do this. Datadog CLI. No. Datadog CLI tool. Oh my God. Let me close the Obsidian. Let me close this. We're in here in the Go Labs. Is there anything we need to know? And then the Datadog CLI tool. Do I still have that open somewhere? Those are indexes. Oh yeah, this is the previous one. So I'm going to say add verbs to get user roles and capabilities, especially because I want to figure out why I might not have the scope for historical data. Because I have, like there's a search log v2 command, and when I use it, I kind of get a permission denied, but only when I use historical data, it seems. So I know nothing about Datadog CLI or the API. So those are always like the funny problems. This is using gobuild as well. For some reason, sometimes it thinks the files got modified, which is weird because it doesn't modify them. I guess it modified it with go work use. So I wonder why it's creating. Did it create a go mod? Is that what it did? Like there's just like so much little stuff going on that it keeps my ADHD brain like nicely busy, especially when my cat is meowing. So this was the add / commands, right? Hey, shut up. If my cat meows, this is going to drive me crazy. I'll have to stop. That's like the downside of the autism. Yeah, I can already feel the stress coming up. Come here. Are you being annoying because the window is closed? You want to watch outside? It's so hot and humid, my dear. It's so hot and humid. All right, maybe I'll open the window for that dude. Okay, the kitty control CLI is fully functional with oh, it's not working. What did it have to fix? Okay, so does that work? List? Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, so maybe having structured data output is maybe not the best way to do this because it's just too much info. And that is going to be an interesting problem to figure out how to overwrite my default flags. So I'm going to write this down. Add an easy way to override. Actually, why don't I just paste it into Ampcode? So I'm going to commit this. I do have Ampcode writing a commit message, which I can then just use because usually it's pretty good. I'm gonna have to add command apps, commit this, I'm gonna push it, task kitty control, because now it's really like kind of important to be good about the hygiene. The hygiene of Gits to really push and keep track of these things. So that's why I want the GitHub GraphQL CLI, right? So that I have on the CLI a quick way to write scripts that manage all my projects and as they go, because I'm just going nuts here. All right, so we have the kitty control tool. So what I can do is look at glazed layer and make it easy to override default values when adding the layer to a command. For example, I want the default output format to be JSON YAML, to be YAML for all the kitty control commands. All right, just ask the AI to do it, right? And actually use a sub agent to do it, because it's a kind of a self-contained thing, right? So I want to keep my main window, which still has like a lot of stuff about kitty control. I don't give a shit about the glazed layer stuff. So the glazed layer, by the way, is the thing that allows me to do structured data pretty easily in command line stuff. So it has like all these 15,000 mega functions, mega flags. It would be great to like override, say, for example, the output one, which per default is table. It'd be great if it was JSON. My cat is driving me insane, so I'm gonna have to. I have to leave. I have to do something about it. Otherwise, I'm gonna go crazy. So this agent apparently doesn't know where kitty control lives. Yeah, kitty. So why? Yeah, look at, holy shit. Sorry, this really is hard for me to do. And fuck, I forgot this. Use a sub agent. All right, I'm gonna have to take care of this cat. That's kind of the issue with the cat and turning on the AC. Is like if I turn on the AC, then the cat wakes up as well. Is this one stuck over here? The correct VHS syntax? Like when the sub agents get stuck, it's really kind of annoying because I don't know how to resume them, and then they're stuck in like a half broken thing. So really kind of weird. What was it doing? Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to stop this, right? We'll see. All right, come on, you beast. It's like while I was in oh no, it resumed. Okay, cool. While I was in San Francisco, the cat sitter gave my cat so many treats that now it's just like a little bitch all the time. It was the same at Christmas. I was like, all right. But usually I listen to music or entertain him, but of course on stream, it's like frustrating. And sadly, if I'm concentrating on something and I hear the cat, I just like my stress level just like immediately goes into through the roof. Did it actually finish doing that? New kitty layer with defaults, output defaults. Holy shit, it figured it out. And I probably already built that functionality, I think, because it already has the with defaults. Yeah. So I wonder if this works. I wonder what it's doing. Like, what is this running tool? What is the sub agent doing when it's running its tool? It's doing like the go build, but really hard to. It seems that it's often getting like, what is it doing that takes so long? Anyway. So this is continuing to do. This is a really like nice way of doing terminal UIs is using this tool called VHS, and I actually have a version that adds like a text screenshot, which I could even use to do like play ready stuff. But I need to. Yeah, I don't even know. I need to add it to the prompt. I forgot where I put it actually. I forgot where I put it. Install VHS tool. Okay. Man, this is crazy. This is just crazy, right? It's like the actual work we did today was like the least effort overall. And you can see it's just like I literally just asked the AI to do it, right? Like even the and then these agents are kind of able to figure it out. So here I added it to the command palette demo, which we could have a look at, and then you start to understand how important this workspace manager is for me, and I need to make it better. It's add/command to Pinocchio, and if we now go into, no, it wasn't Boba Tea, right? If we now do command apps, where is it? Where is that thing? It's in Boba Tea examples. Examples, Boba Tea command palette demo. No, what is it doing? Test a demo and VHS recording. The package is GitHub command. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't find that actually. Oh, it created its own go mod go sum. Remove the go mod go sum in the command palette demo. We only need the top level boba tea. I thought I had that in my agent MD as well. I'll need to update that too. I'm going to say like proper agent MD management for VSM. Maybe like /templates for a checkout. Of a new workspace. And maybe even a script to create the agent MD. Or a script to initialize the workspace. Yeah, that'd be quite interesting actually. All right, so this guy is understanding the thing, but like the sub agents, I'm not fully sure how often I should use them. It's good to experiment. I only started using them today. So what is it doing here? Let me look at this directly and implement the solution. I don't know. Okay. use subagents to update. Okay, so now we have a demo. And is that running? Okay, command palette. Okay, but it's not using an overlay, right? So use an overlay for the palette, like in chat.go. What is it? Go chat app main.go. And simple chat. All right. Yeah, you can see that I can juggle 3 and then a 4th would just be too much. Here I'm juggling 2 because I have a small screen and I'm talking. And I'm tired. But it's even like I can do this while it's going and then I don't actually even remember what we all did already. I know we did kitty control and then we did the palette, but we also did another one, didn't we? We also worked on something else. No, I don't think we did. Kitty control and slash commands. Okay. So it's just the rest that's like in my thing. Why is it doing this? What the fuck? Why is it trying to kill my SSH? Let me see if there's a kitty instance and test the command. So I can do, so here again, it's in the sub agent, right? And it's like, okay, so that's cool. It's actually already working. So all of that. So this was kitty control, which if we go to the workspace, kitty control, go run, go labs, command apps, kitty control, and then we do list. Yeah, now we have YAML, so that's great. What is all that shit? All right, yeah, there's private keys in there. Great, thanks. All right. What now? Commit. It always has the binaries in there. I hate it. That's also something I need to put into the agent MD. I already have it. Let's select. It says always use go run, but then it still does a go build for fun. All right. And then the glazed also. Has glazed changed at all? No, so nothing has changed here. So that's great. And then the diff is really just, actually I can do this. VSM diff cached. No, I can't do cached. Does this get reset? So if I do VSM diff, yeah, it shows me that, and then it doesn't show me the other one. So adding -- cache to diff would also be good. In a way, I don't, it's always a cognitive effort. Is it like a higher effort now to write the task down in my to-do or to just type it into Ampcode? For VSM. Anyway, I think there's even like a commit option, right? Commit option add all. And then message art use YAML as default output. Yeah, there we go. This tool is crazy. I don't even know half of the things you can do with it. So here we had the kitty control. I wonder if we can, like I want to have JavaScript bindings for the kitty control to write like full scripts. But also, is there in kitty control? So command apps kitty control. Is there like a README? No, so it's like write a README with also a full set of cool applications and little scripts for using Kitty control. And here we now have the demos, right? Like it goes so fast that it's kind of like hard to see what's all going on. It's really rough. Like, I mean, it's really rough. It's like really exhausting in a way. I also don't remember the Go Chat app command chat. Oh, it has chat and then go work, use Go Chat app. Wait for messages redeclared. Yeah, because it has... Okay, so it clears the screen, right? Okay, so it doesn't do a real overlay. Okay, so that's fine because that means that the go run Boba examples command palette demo does the same, which is nice. Hello. Okay, so now it added that to the Boba repo, which we can add the examples and the package command palette. It added the binary as usual. And then it removed this as well. Then what is the README about? Run the demo, meg demo. So how is this even configurable? Commands, description, save, needs parameters. Okay, handle command events. Okay, so that's cool. I guess I can do this, right? Add command palette. Yeah, why are you committing these? So what is it failing on? Oh, the linting. So the linting we'll do later on. I'm going to commit this without linting because otherwise it will freak out Ampcode. So in the Kitty control, now it created a bunch of stuff which I would need to try out. The thing is that we now have our Boba palette in here. And now I do want to have, what do I want to add to Pinocchio? Because that's going to be like a tricky one because it has to understand how Pinocchio works, which is not the easiest program in the world, to be honest. What do I even want to do with the slash command in Pinocchio? Okay, I'm going to say add the command palette to Pinocchio UI. Is there like a... No, how does this even work? The UI in Pinocchio. I don't remember. And maybe that's a good moment to stop. Because this is maybe also where the AI does something better, but I just want to give it like a starting point of how this all works. So charm bracelet. Is this used? Package UI backend, package commands, history browser, chat runner. Ask for chat continuation. Chat builder. I don't even remember where the code is for the UI. Yeah, it's in the UI command. All right, I'm just going to say like add this to the command palette in Pinocchio and then chat runner to Pinocchio, which uses Boba T widgets as well. Actually, that might be a good thing to know. It's the UI backend. Oh, here, packages, commands, command.go. That seems to be where it is as well. C or Pinocchio command.go. Commands, command.go. There we go. Add a command to quit, add a command to regenerate, add a command to yeah, that's good. We'll see if it is able to do that. That's cool. And in the meantime, we can look at Kitty control and see the README that it created for us. So we can look at this and the examples that it's giving us with little shell scripts even. That's funny. So to start, we can do Kitty remote control allow temp Kitty socket allow ready remote control. So this is good to add this to the conf. And I guess my config is Kitty conf. Right. And this is temp Kitty's temps test is good. Kitty control list, we already had that. Kitty control. Okay, go build output local bin Kitty control. Go labs command apps Kitty control. Then Kitty control list. And here I'm like worried about these environment variables. Tabs, window, list, title. Windows. I'm actually going to add this when doing list, please per default censor the env in the result. Run it to see what I mean with all right, maybe hopefully it'll figure out what I mean. And then what was the funny stuff that it told us that we can do here? I guess everything starts with a launch new window. Kitty control launch. Too many arguments. Command and arguments to launch. So the README is wrong, which is good. So it did launch htop, which is good. So we would have to validate the README, because otherwise, if we have a README that's broken, that doesn't really make much sense, huh? Yeah, it's so funny because it like here in the examples already, it's like giving us the args. Maybe it's just for launch that we should put that as the arguments. In any case, I think that was hopefully like a good demo of Ampcode, and I don't think I can build many more features. What is it doing here in the, oh, it's modifying the chat model, which is really a good idea. And then here, registering the commands, that would be something that should be able to be overridden. So I'm going to have it finish all of that, and then I'm going to tell it to make the commands, the command palette commands and the messages it returns configurable. Maybe I should do it now. I never know when to interrupt these things when they're doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, here it's like adding these to the command palette config is like make it so that the boba tea chat is not gets the commands from outside as well as the messages returned, so that it stays a fairly agnostic chat widget. So regenerate message is only part of Pinocchio. That might be some complicated architecture question, right? Like it's not said that the architecture really allows for it. So maybe I interrupted it too early, where now I'm like asking it to do something that's actually kind of hard to make a good judgment call on. So we'll see where it goes. It's still at 50% context, so that's okay. I don't know if this guy's stuck over here. We'll see. Maybe it's trying to do like Claude retries in the back end. It's just getting like overloaded errors all the way. Yeah, this is starting to smell weird here. I don't know if that was such a good idea. We'll see. In the worst case, we can revert Pinocchio's changes, right? This might be a moment where I actually stuff everything into O3 and then just have O3 design a good architecture to do that, because it's actually better than me at this point. And I already made like a big boo-boo in here. So we'll see. Actually, this all looks pretty decent, huh? It like wrapped the model in a Pinocchio-specific command handling model. Not the worst idea. Not the worst idea at all. Yeah, not bad. Not bad, my dear. I think this was a pretty good idea. Yeah, I think the other one is stuck, huh? This one over here. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna go exercise now. Kind of curious about this Pinocchio thing, though. Yeah, this is like the addiction, right? Because I probably like blasted $15 on this stream. So we'll see. We'll see where this leads us. Yeah, it finished it. So I don't know, man. I don't know what add / commands to Pinocchio. All right. So the regenerate doesn't do anything, but it's there for sure. All right, well, it would be nice if it was centered. Center the palette when called. Yeah, because I do have a save command, right? But it's not wired up. I was expecting some of those to be wired up, but we'll see. All right, so is it centered now? All right. Quit is wired up too. So if I do WSM commit is like sparkles add command palette to Pinocchio. Yeah, so it's doing the linting now, which we're not going to worry about today. Yeah, this was pretty fantastic, I must say. Do I have WSM push? Yeah, of course I do have it. Push upstream. And I think remote name. Hello? Okay. Push to Vazen, yes. Yes. Pretty good. I wonder what it's doing, why it's so slow. I wonder if it's like what it's pulling from the other side. Anyway, it's pushed, and then in kitty control, this one's stuck. So I do want to finish the list part to just get that all wrapped up. And this is going to be for later. So I don't know if I should close this. I think you can resume it. That's something I should try next time, where I can resume threads. I hope that gives you like a good insight into how I use Ampcode, which is just like typing what I want in there and then being overwhelmed by building too much stuff. All right. That was fun.